Have you ever looked at someone else's life and wondered, why does success come so easily to them while I keep struggling? You work hard, you wait, you try again, and still, nothing seems to change. Meanwhile, someone else appears to find the right opportunity at exactly the right moment. Slowly, you begin to believe that perhaps they were simply luckier than you. Perhaps success was meant for them and not for you. But there is a dangerous mistake hidden inside that belief. We often think fortune is something we find, a lucky opportunity, a wealthy connection, a perfect moment. But what if fortune is not something waiting somewhere outside us? What if it is hidden inside the way we think, work, and respond when life gives us a problem that seems impossible? Today's story is of three brothers who went searching for fortune. Two of them searched for an easy answer. The third discovered something far more valuable. Long ago, in a small mountain village, three brothers lived together on a little farm. The eldest was named Tanyen. He was hardworking and responsible. Every morning, before the sun appeared over the mountains, Tanyen was already working. He plowed the fields. He planted crops. He carried water. He repaired fences. And after a long day in the fields, he still gathered firewood before returning home. His two younger brothers, Joshu and Penhun, were very different. They enjoyed the food Tanyen earned, but they did not enjoy the work that produced it. While Tanyen worked under the hot sun, they slept. When he returned exhausted, they were waiting for dinner. The little farm produced barely enough to feed them. And Tanyen knew that if they continued living this way, their future would never change. One evening, he finally said, "Brothers, we cannot continue like this. I am going to leave the village and seek my fortune. If I succeed, I will return and provide a better life for all of us." Joshu and Penhun exchanged a glance. Why should Tanyen become rich while they remained behind? They suddenly became interested in finding their own fortune, so the three brothers decided to leave together. They walked for several days. Eventually, they reached a distant village. By evening, they were exhausted. They noticed a small hut beside a pool and knocked on the door. An old woman opened it. "We are travelers," said Joshu. "May we stay here tonight?" The old woman looked at him carefully. "You may," she said, "but first, you must complete a task." "What task?" She pointed toward the pool. "Remove all the stars from that water." Joshu looked at the pool. The night sky was reflected perfectly on its surface. Hundreds of stars seemed to be floating in the water. He stared at the old woman. "How can I possibly remove the stars?" "That is for you to discover," she replied. Joshu tried. He reached into the water. His fingers touched nothing. He tried again. Nothing. Eventually, he became frustrated. "This is impossible!" He returned home without accomplishing the task. Penhun decided he could do better. He traveled to the old woman's hut and asked for the same opportunity. The old woman gave him the same challenge. "Remove the stars from the pool." Penhun looked at the shining water. He tried scooping the stars out with his hands. But every time he touched the water, the stars broke apart and disappeared. When the water became still, they returned. After struggling for hours, Penhun gave up. "I cannot do it." He returned, disappointed. Finally, it was Tanyen's turn. He reached the old woman's hut late in the evening next day. The old woman pointed toward the pool. "Remove all the stars." Tanyen didn't laugh. He didn't argue. He simply looked at the water. Then he looked at the sky. Then back at the water. He noticed something. Whenever the surface moved, the stars disappeared. When the water became still, they returned. Tanyen thought carefully. Then he understood. The stars were not in the pool. They were only reflections. He turned to the old woman. "May I have a bucket?" She smiled. Of course. Tanyen stepped into the pool, and he began working. One bucket, then another, then another. The work was slow. The night grew colder. His arms became tired. His feet hurt. But he continued. He didn't try to fight the impossible. He simply changed the problem. If he could not remove the stars, he could remove the water that reflected them. Bucket by bucket, he emptied the pool. Hours passed. The moon crossed the sky, and finally, as dawn approached, the pool was completely dry. There were no stars left in it.
When the old woman came outside, she saw the empty pool. "You have done it," she said.
Tanyen bowed respectfully. "I only did what was possible." The old woman smiled. "That is precisely why you succeeded." She then led him behind the hut. There stood a magnificent farm, rich fields, fruit trees,
Healthy animals, a beautiful house. The old woman handed the farm to Tanyen. "From today, this is yours." Tanyen was stunned. "Why?"
"Because you did something your brothers could not." "What?" "You did not waste your strength trying to achieve the impossible. You stopped, you observed, you understood, and then you worked."
Tanyen eventually returned home. His brothers rushed toward him. "Did you find your fortune?" Tanyen smiled. "Yes." "Where?" He looked at his hands. "Here."
His brothers were confused. Tanyen told them everything. He explained the old woman's challenge, he explained the reflection, and he explained how he had emptied the pool. For the first time, Joshu and Penhun understood something. They had spent their journey looking for fortune. Tanyen had spent his journey developing the ability to create it.
From that day forward, the two brothers began working alongside him, and together they built a prosperous life.
The three brothers were searching for the same thing, fortune. But they approached it differently. Joshu wanted an answer that was easy. Penhun wanted an opportunity that required little effort. Tanyen was willing to face a difficult problem and keep working until he understood it. That difference changed everything. And this is where the story becomes relevant to our lives. Sometimes we look at successful people and think, they were lucky, but we don't see the years of learning behind their success. We see the result. We don't see the buckets. We see the empty pool. We see someone's success, but not the thousands of small actions that created it. And sometimes we make the same mistake as Joshu and Penhun. We keep searching for the perfect opportunity, the perfect idea, the lucky break, the shortcut. But while searching for the stars, we forget to look at the water. The problem may not be that you have no opportunity. The problem may be that you are looking at the problem in the wrong way. Tanyen didn't become successful because he was magically lucky. He succeeded because he was willing to observe, think differently, and work patiently. Sometimes you need to see differently. Change the approach. Learn something new. Ask a better question. Try another path. And then keep going. So the next time you feel that life has given everyone else the stars while leaving you with an empty sky, remember Tanyen. Your fortune may not be waiting somewhere far away. It may already be in your hands. You just have to learn how to use them. Until our next story, keep looking beyond the obvious. Because sometimes, your greatest fortune is already in your hands.